කාලගුණය කොහොමුණත් රයිනො නං වාලට සේෆ් තමයි මුළු ගෙදරම.
Enjoy the game. When it's come to big games, always pressure. But I think keep the blue and white flag flying high, boys.
My past, my history, whenever you walk to Oval, we'll always remember those good times.
Hi, hello, and welcome everybody. The 87th Battle of the Saints is just around the corner. And on that note, we thought we'll catch up with a couple of finest batsmen to have played in the Battle of the Saints. And that is Asela Pathirana and Malinda Warnapura. Well, Asela skippered St. Joseph's in 1995, and Malinda Warnapura skippered the Peters in 1998. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Hi, good morning,
Hi.
Megan. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. I'll start with Asela. Just talking of the past, Asela, you skippered, as I mentioned, you skippered St. Joseph's College in 1995, and that sure was a splendid season for you. But I think it did not end well with the big match. Your thoughts on that? I think you missed out on a thousand runs by just around 18 runs, I think, on that big match, and it wasn't a very flowery big match for you. Tell us about your experience at that year.
Yeah, actually, after Peter Hammer's year, that was 1993, we had a very young side, actually, when I was captaining. So basically, we won some games and we lost some games as well. But we had a young, very, very good young lads to support me. So when it's come to the big match, it was for my 1,000 runs, there was 18 runs short before I went to the big game. So my plan was to get my 1,000 runs, but unfortunately, I couldn't make that mark. First innings, I think I was zero, and second innings, I think I got only 9. So I missed from I think about 9 or 10 runs. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
Well, even though it was not the finish that you would have asked for in that year, 1995 Asela, I think it was still an year very close to you. You led the Josephians, and of course, I don't think you regret anything about that year. And for all the viewers, if you did not know, Asela Pathirana is one among the two people who have scored 200 runs in a season, as in one game for St. Joseph's College. And I think, Asela, you hold that very close to your heart as a Josephian, and that record, I think you're holding it really dear to yourself. And Malinda, coming on to you, 1996, your big match debut, and let's talk about your debut first. And I don't know if you recall it, but Asela mentioned it before this shoot off camera that you've been a culprit in that game. But let's get to it after we talk about your debut.
Yeah, definitely playing for St. Peter's was my first year in 90. It's 95-96 season. And I remember one of the best batsmen got out for 96. And it was me. Unfortunately, even if it would be done now, I think I would have dropped the catch because we are very good friends now. So at first big match, I can't do that, and I didn't know him much very well. But then again, it's Asela Pathirana, one of the best players during school days, and even still, we all respect him. Unfortunately, he played couple of games for NCC. Otherwise, I'm sure he would have continued playing for Sri Lanka. And his brother Danuka Pathiran as well. He played his first year when I played my last year. So it's a lot of memories that we have with Pathiranas, and even after school in England, I played with Danuka, and even with Asela, we all meet, and we have always good memories. I'm sure one of the best batsmen that we've seen in school days, as you said, 200 runs for a schoolboy, and he was a batsman to watch those days. I have to say that.
Well, Asela, what were your thoughts when Malinda when you just got out at 98 or 96, if I'm not wrong? What were the thoughts running in your head?
Actually, there was nothing much to say because I was betting because normally I don't, use the crease a lot, and I play my normal game. So when it's come to 90s, it was a bit nervous, but they took the second new ball as well. I remember Mandro Neomal was bowling at that time. Then for the second new ball, I think they had deep mid on. Oh, sorry, mid wicket. Deep mid wicket. That was Malinda was fielding there. Then straight away I just went for that shot, and Malinda took the catch. And it was a sad end of that day also.
Megan, when you're in 96, you don't hit deep mid wicket, right? You just have to get that 4 runs.
That was a stupid shot anyway.
Uh,
Well, that was a low-scoring game in 1996. 168 runs for 9 declared St. Joseph's College, and you got 90 odd out of it. And of course, that indeed that alone is an achievement there, Asela. And of course, moving on to Malinda Warnapura, uh, I just throw this question to Asela. You've seen him make his debut at the Battle of the Saints, and obviously I've seen him as a schoolboy grow. Did you ever think Malinda is going to open for Sri Lanka playing Test cricket?
Not really, because that Malinda's first year was, I think, my last year in 1996. So there were a few good cricketers at that time for St. Peter's. So we were aiming those people, not the debutants. But I knew he will do well one day. And I after that I went on to went to see some matches of Malinda's. So after that he was just took it off and did really well for St. Peter's, as well as for their club era also. Then I went on to play for Sri Lanka. He was a great chap, and we always, my brother and him are very good friends. And the other day we really like him as a friend and as a player.
සීලිමට ගන්න සීට් එක මොකද්ද බාසුනි?
අයිනෝ සීලිම රයිනෝ සීලිම
වෛරම් රටාව දැවනිම
රයිනෝ
කැමති පාට කෑමට හැකි ප්ලේන් සීලිම
රයිනෝ
වහලට රයිනෝ
සීලිමටත් රයිනෝ
සවි ශක්තියෙන් වැඩි
අයිනෝ
කල් පැවැත්ම ඉහලයි
රයිනෝ
ඊදමත් අඩුයි
අයිනෝ
හැම අතින්ම ඉහලයි
අඩසේ වසකට වැඩි ජනතා විශ්වාසය නව සංයෝගයකින් රයිනෝ රෝෆිං සහ සීලිං ෂීට්.
රයිනෝ
All right, and indeed you mentioned in the debut you did not really think Malinda you can get on with him later on, but he did mention he did not really think that you will make for Sri Lanka. But 3 years later, Malinda Warnapura plays.
I said at that time, not that,
I'm just blaming it. Anyways, 3 years later, Malinda Warnapura goes on to make one of the highest scores as a Peter Wright in the Battle of the Saints, 1998 year, captaining Peter Wright and scoring 159. Thoughts about your own knock, Malinda? How did you feel?
I was actually not a big scorer like Asela during the school season. I didn't have 100 even. I scored my highest was 98 against St. Thomas and another 70 against St. Benedict's. So when I came to the big match, I've scored around 700 odd runs. So it's like for Asela Pathirana, when he came in, he came to score 1,000 runs. For me, I was like all-rounder for St. Peter's when I captained 98. I've got about 60 odd wickets and about 700 runs. And scoring 100 at the big match, I'm sure there's nothing else that you can ask for. And it's a Joe Pete, especially the Josephians were heading the table. We were heading the table, and it was like St. Joseph's number 2, St. Peter's number 1. And, just a couple of two teams always been riding high. And there were some great players like Shinal Varnakulu who had the record earlier. The year earlier, he got 13 wickets, and I played that big match as well. So playing with them, Montopera, Amin the Dimil, some Johannes Jayasuriya, Ian Daniel, those are some of the great players that we played together. And even after school, Ian was one of the openers. As you asked Asela whether you think that I will be open. Even I have never opened for St. Peter's or for my club, but I opened for Sri Lanka. So I'm sure no one would have thought that I will open for Sri Lanka because I batted number 5 for St. Peter's, even for my club. And then, so going back to 100, 159, and that was the second highest score at that time. And I was also lucky to see Shehan Fernando from St. Peter's making 159, and a couple of years ago, Santush Gunatilaka making a brilliant 161. I was so happy that I was the coach and I was at the dressing room to see someone scoring that 161, and it's always good to see someone doing well, even it's a Pete Wright or a Josephian. So I'm always happy about my past, my history. Whenever you walk to Oval, we'll always remember those good times.
කාලගුණය කොහොමුණත් රයිනෝ නං වහලට සේෆ් තමයි මුළු ගෙදරම.
You mentioned about being the coach. I was just gonna throw that to you. you know these boys, Malinda. You know these Peterites, or of course some of the Josephians who are gonna walk out come the 13th of December. Tell us about what we can expect. Who do you think will be a star, and who do you think will be a dangerous player? Give us an insight about the playing 11 or else the squad of St. Peter's College.
Megan, the best thing is that we have three Sri Lanka under 19 players for St. Peter's, and the same time we have another three Josephians who are representing Sri Lanka under 19. So actually, we have to be very happy that we have some young players who are with the Sri Lanka under 19. So it's always, you are always looking for some big names to do well at the big match. So I'm sure any one of them can come out and do. Especially guys like Vanuja Sahan, who is doing really well with the under 19s. Then we have the fast bowler Danal Hemananda, Lahiru, Davatage, then captain Nipunaga Fonseca, who's been scoring runs during the season. And so there are a few guys, I'm sure, who will do something and make it a memorable one. That's the important thing when you come to the big match. Whatever you do during the season, and you make some good at the big match, and you will be remembered forever. So I wish both teams, especially like Dunit Vellalage and a few others from St. Joseph's, and I'm sure that unfortunately we are not allowed to get into the game, but I wish both teams players that do well and make sure that you play good quality cricket.
Well, Astera, I know even though you are not anywhere in a coaching setup, you've not been involved with St. Joseph's College from a long while, from the past time when you actually coached the team. But I know you are close with the team and you follow the school cricket and St. Joseph's cricket especially. So, is there anything that you can add as an insight for our viewers about this year's St. Joseph's team?
Yeah, actually, everyone's dream is to play for their team and a big match for the represents St. Joseph or whichever school as a schoolboy. So I think actually, as like Malinda said, we are missing a couple of players for this game as well as St. Peter's as well. So I think I mean like though we are missing couple of players, but still St. Joseph have a good side, and they did really well past few games as well. So I also wish all the best, and enjoy. Most important thing is to enjoy. And unfortunately, we can't go to watch the big match, but we'll be supporting you guys. All the best.
Yeah, still don't yet give that message out. I'll be coming for that anyways. And talking of not being able to watch the game, as spectators, now we spoke all about your playing times. Now let's get into you as spectators. How much the Josephians and Peterites both love to go watch their big match. What do you feel about not being able to go there? What are you gonna miss? And let's start with Malinda there.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but we are really happy that both schools have agreed to play a big match because most of the guys will play their last year. And even for any cricketer who represents St. Peter's or St. Joseph's, their dream is to play a big match, as Asela said. So I'm very thankful for both rectors for coming forward and making the big match happening on the 13th and 14th. So unfortunately, as you said, even schoolboys, uh, as I remember as a schoolboy, that how I was waiting for to go for a big match, and unfortunately today for schoolboys the same thing, and even for old boys. And Nasela know how to beat batch. We have even many batch groups getting ready for the big match, uh, organizing tents and everything is done. But unfortunately, I'm sure this time we will miss it. But anyway, as I'm sure we can watch from watch online and support both schools, and hopefully we can go for the next year's big match.
Well, Sarah, what tradition are you gonna miss in the big match? Of course, the
I mean, a lot
spectators.
of fun. Lot of fun, I would say. And meeting past cricketers and friends. That's all about the big game. So we had a lot of good memories and good old days. We're talking about good old days and how we played, and how we did and how we watched games those days. I mean, we respect the seniors. We meet them. It's all in the all there actually. Big game, big match is. So yeah, we are going to miss that a lot.
Well, That is the tradition. That is what this entire game is about. It's not exact almost entirely about cricket. It's also about the camaraderie everyone shares, and Josephians and Peterites, they have really lived up to that. And moving on, this will be the last thrown into both of you. Your message, your wishes for the boys. Let's go with Asela first.
As I said, enjoy. The most important thing is to enjoy the game. When it's come to big games, always pressure, but I think keep the blue and white flag flying high, boys. That's all I can say. Just enjoy.
Well, Malinda.
Yeah, same thing. As a schoolboy, this is one of the best opportunities you'll have in your life. You can make a note, you can be remembered forever. So as Asela said, enjoy, and what you have done during the season doesn't matter. If you do well, you'll be remembered, and have a good one. All the very best for both teams.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for taking time off your busy schedules and joining us to represent your schools even after you have done playing for them. And once again, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Well, that's about it. It was indeed a pleasure catching up with these two gentlemen. And as we mentioned before, the Josephian Peterite battle, the Battle of the Saints, the clash between the Saints will be happening on the 13th and 14th of December, and the one-day match will be played on the 16th. And we, ThePapare.com, are dedicated to bring you all actions live from the game. And till we see you with the Battle of the Saints, it's me, Sharmigan Sridharan, signing off for ThePapare.com.
සීලිමට ගන්න සීට් එක මොකද්ද බාසුනි?
අයිනෝ සීලිම රයිනෝ සීලිම
වෛරම් රටාව දැවනිම
රයිනෝ
කැමති පාට ගෑමට හැකි ප්ලේන් සීලිම රයිනෝ
වහලට රයිනෝ
සීලිමටත් රයිනෝ
සවි ශක්තියෙන් වැඩි
අයිනෝ මල් පැවැත්ම ඉහලයි
රයිනෝ
ඊදමත් අඩුයි.
අයිනෝ
හැම අතින්ම ඉහලයි
අඩ සියවසකට වැඩි ජනතා විශ්වාසය නව සංයෝගයකින් රයිනෝ රෝෆිං සහ සීලිං ෂීට්.
රයිනෝ
Stay on the ball with the Papare Sports News Alerts. Don't miss out on what's happening in the world of sport. Type sports and send to 678 to register. 30 rupees per month. Conditions apply.